अस्सलाम वालेकुम। स्पेशल टॉक के साथ मियां सैफ रहमान हाजिर खिदमत। नाजरीन, आज हमारे साथ एक डिस्टिंग्विश्ड गेस्ट हैं फ्रॉम ईरान। उनका मैं अभी तारफ़ कराऊंगा, लेकिन प्रोग्राम का हमारा इंटरव्यू इंग्लिश में होगा, तो इंग्लिश में गुफ्तगू के साथ साथ मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि इन एन एब्रिज्ड फॉर्म मुख्तसरन आप उसका तर्जमा भी साथ साथ बताता जाऊँ कि उनके क्या व्यूज़ हैं और मेरे क्या क्वेश्चंस थे उसके बारे में, ताकि आप अपडेटेड रहें जो भी सिचुएशन है। और ईरान का तो आपको पता ही है, इट हैज़ कम अप एज ए ट्रायम्फेंट नेशन और इतने चैलेंजेस का उन्होंने सामना किया विद एन आयरन रिजॉल्व। तो पहले मैं अपने मोअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान को वेलकम करूंगा, फिर मैं इंट्रो दूंगा और फिर क्वेश्चन आंसर्स। तो हमारे दी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड गेस्ट दैट वी हैव हियर इन आवर स्टूडियो, हिज नेम इज़ डॉक्टर शहाब एस्फंदियारी। Let me correct the pronunciation. I beg your pardon. The distinguished guest from Iran that we have here in the studio is Dr. Shahab Esfandiari. He is president of IRIB Media University, Iran. Welcome to the show, Dr.
Thank you very much.
And it's our honor that you are here. And everyone in Pakistan wants to know how Iran faced all these challenges, how it coped with the so formidable forces of darkness, in the region and in the world. And particularly, it's an inspiration for us here in the Muslim world. You brought us hope, you brought us a comfort, and above all, the melancholiness that was prevailing in the Muslim world, that what will happen to Iran. Some people had gone so much pessimistic about it, that no, Iran is gone and so on and so forth, and we have been listening to so many negative comments. So they were very painful, disappointing, but obviously I think that's a wrong attitude. So now I go for an intro. Gentlemen and ladies and viewers, valuable viewers, you might have heard that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, founder of Pakistan, said no one can undo Pakistan. Now the world has seen of late that no one can undo Iran. And if we come up at a major higher scale, that no one can do Islam or the Muslim world. So be confident, be hopeful, have unflinching faith in Almighty Allah, whose blessed two nations on earth, Pakistan and Iran, have asserted themselves. They have stood on their feet and fought the forces of evil with courage, with wisdom, with iron resolve, and obviously with technology as well. There were inadequacies in Pakistan, in Iran, and still we fought very powerful forces. And those powerful forces who were in nexuses with one another. So these fighting the nexuses is also a big ability, you can say. It shows the capacity and the resilience of the Pakistani nation as well as Iranian nation. Now we come to the question answer session. We go to Mr. Dr. Esfandiari. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr.
We
Saif.
welcome you because you represent the nation that have stood the test of times, and it has given us hope, in the Muslim world. And already I remember, people of Pakistan have always been talking, they're speaking highly of Iranian people, about their iron resolve. Rather, we say that they're emotional, it's an emotional nation. But being emotional, I think they have a touch of courage as well. So how do you rate my point?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Saif Rehman. It's a pleasure for me to join you on your show.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your kind remarks and comments about the Iranian nation. Of course, we are one nation, we are brothers, we are neighbors.
No doubt.
And we have deep cultural roots. Last night I was visiting the tomb of Allama Iqbal Lahori.
I love him. I love that personality.
My father is a staunch follower and lover of his poems from early age when he was a young student. And he was a revolutionary against the Shah. When I was born, he was in prison.
Your father was in prison.
My father is in prison. His crime was having the books of Ayatollah Khomeini. Only for having the books of Ayatollah Khomeini, he was prisoned for 2 years. And that was when I was born. And he loved Allama Iqbal Lahori. Why? Because the poems of Allama Iqbal inspired the young generation across the Muslim world to resist the forces of imperialism, the forces of colonialism, and to wake up. You know his famous poem, he says, "Az khab geran, khab geran, khab geran khiz." Wake up from your deep sleep, O nation of Islam. And he calls upon the youth. He even visits Iran, and he has a poem called "Ey jawanan ajam, jan man o jan shoma." Oh you youth of Iran, my heart is with you.
My heart is with you.
What are you going to do with your lives, because that was the time that Iran was occupied by British and Russian forces after the World War. And he didn't see, so he called them to wake up. And last night when I went, I wanted to say, Allama Iqbal, wake up and see.
Yeah, the tears might be coming out of your eyes when I visit the tomb.
Absolutely.
So it gave me goosebumps rather.
I wanted to say
so I must translate it for the viewers. The viewers हमारे मोअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान ये कह रहे हैं कि ईरान और पाकिस्तान एक कौम है, और इसमें अल्लामा इकबाल का भी जिक्र आया कि इकबाल लाहौरी जिन्हें वहाँ बड़ी इज़्ज़त और मोहब्बत की निगाह से देखा जाता है ईरान में, और पाकिस्तान के तो वो मुफ़क्र पाकिस्तान उन्हें कहा ही जाता है। तो वो बता रहे हैं कि मेरे वालिद साहब भी उनके बहुत लवर थे, और वो वालिद साहब जो थे उनको उस दौर में माजी में चूँकि इसलिए गिरफ़्तार किया गया और जेल में रखा गया क्योंकि उनके पास बुक थी आयतुल्लाह ख़मीनी की, और उन्होंने कहा कि कल रात मैं उनके मज़ार पे गया अल्लामा साहब के, इकबाल लाहौरी के, और उन्होंने पोइम्स का भी जिक्र किया कि उन्होंने मुस्लिम उम्मा के जो नौजवान हैं उनको कहा कि वेक अप, आप बेदारी का वक्त आया कि आप बेदार हों। और इसी तरह ईरान में भी जब वो तशरीफ़ ले गए तो वहाँ भी उन्होंने जा कहा कि ये कौम जो है आपके जवान जो हैं, और वो वक्त था जब वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा असर रसूख था बरतानिया का, दीगर साम्राज्य कुव्वतों का, और आज हम वो ईरान देख रहे हैं एक बेदार और बहादुर और गयूर कौम के तौर पे दुनिया में उभरा है। वेल डॉक्टर साहब, ये आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू अबाउट दिस Iran Israel conflict, or rather it's not a conflict, it was a war.
Yes.
And you have stood as a symbol of, as a torch bearer of, Iran has stood as a torch bearer of resistance against these forces of darkness, these forces of evil who want to impose their will, their dominance, their hegemony in the region. And Iran is the sole, crusader against this trend, this negative approach.
Yes. As you know, from the creation of the illegitimate regime of Israel in 1948, and this regime has always been an occupier. It has always attacked the nations of Islam. In 1967, it attacked 3 countries at the same time: Egypt, Syria, Jordan. And all their armies were defeated in only 6 days. And in all these years, it has attacked Lebanon. In the 80s, it occupied South Lebanon. It has occupied the Golan Heights in Syria. And all these years, it has got away with these aggressions and occupations, and nobody, unfortunately, has had the power to respond and hit back. And this time, alhamdulillah, with the lot of the Parvardigar of God and the resolve of the Iranian people and the Iranian army, alhamdulillah, and the advancement of knowledge and science in Iran after the revolution. This is a very important point, that after the revolution, many people said, oh, the clerics have come and they will shut down all the universities. They will go backward.
They will plunge into backwardness.
Yes, they're going to go
but
backward.
That didn't happen.
No, we progressed in science, in nuclear science, without,
without the clutches of...
Yes, with all the sanctions. They didn't give us anything. They sanctioned our country, our universities, our academics. And we progressed in many fields of science, including in missile technology. And so, they were shocked. They didn't believe that Iran has this capability. They thought that with their defense system, they can stop all our missiles. But, when they saw that Tel Aviv and Haifa are being hit hard, their scenes coming out of there like Gaza, and they were shocked. So they came and asked for a ceasefire after 12 days.
वेल जो हमारे मोअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान ये बता रहे हैं कि ईरान के बारे में ये एक तसव्वुर था कि वहाँ पे जो इनकलाब ईरान आया तो उसके बाद शायद ये उसमें पस्ती में चला जाएगा और ये एक क्लरिक्स की मजहबी रहनुमाओं की हुकूमत होगी, लेकिन जबकि इसके बरक्स ईरान ने साइंस में और दीगर बहुत से अलूम में बहुत तरक्की की और जो इसराइल का जो एक नाजायज़ वहाँ कब्ज़ा रहा और नाजायज़ उसकी क्रिएशन हुई तो उसका एक हमेशा यही ख्वाब रहा कि मैं यहाँ पे कब्ज़ा करूँ और हुकूमतों को जाके मुल्कों पे एक 1967 में हुआ, उसके बाद भी उन्होंने 1980 में लिबनान पे किया और लिबनान का कुछ हिस्सा ऑक्यूपाई कर लिया, फिर गोलान हाइट्स भी उन्होंने कैप्चर कर ली। तो इसमें मज़ाहमत का सबसे बड़ा सिंबल जो मशल बरदार वो ईरान ही साबित हुआ और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह परवरदिगार के करम से ईरान ने उसकी मज़ाहमत भी की, ना सिर्फ मज़ाहमत की बल्कि तल अवीव हैफा और उनको इतना हिट किया कि वहाँ पे अब बाकायदा वो सीज़ फायर के लिए वो बाकायदा पुकारने लग पड़े और उसके लिए रिक्वेस्ट भेजने लग पड़े आलमी दुनिया में कि जी हमें अब ये सीज़ फायर चाहिए। और वो जो ईरान का वो इसराइल का ख्वाब था इनविंसिबिलिटी का कि जी हमें कोई मिसाइल टच नहीं कर सकता, वो चिकनाचूर हो गए। वेल डॉक्टर साहब, what actually happened? What were the trigger points? I mean, that triggered this war.
Yeah.
I mean, conflicts were already there. They were smoldering for years and years together. And particularly, Iran was facing sanctions and sort of suppression, you can say. And even the dominating part of the world, I mean, the Western parts, they were also hand in glove with Israel and their.
Absolutely.
So, what triggered, I mean, this war?
Yeah.
I mean, who initiated it?
Yes. As you know,
has it something to do with the Hamas and Gaza and?
Well, of course, the Israelis after the October
7.
Yes, they were very, angry, and they thought that
they thought that the Hamas people are being patronized by Iran.
Yes, but this was, they didn't see that they are the occupiers. They have been occupying Palestine for 75 years, and the people of Palestine are resisting any freedom fighter who wants to live. You liberated your country from the forces of colonialism. The Indian people liberated, they struggled for years and years and liberated their country from colonialism. And Israel is a form of colonialism. Israel is a settler colonial state.
Colonial state.
Yes, they come from Europe. They have occupied land just as the British came to India and Pakistan and occupied land, just as they went to Africa and Latin America and occupied land. So Israel is maybe the last remaining instant of colonial entity, which will eventually be wiped off the face of the earth, inshallah, because it is illegitimate. It doesn't belong to that place. You can't take a people from different parts of the world, put them in one area and say you are one nation. They are not. They are different people from different parts of the world. And today, Israeli society is disintegrating because of different fractions. And
do you think that it is heading towards implosion?
I think they are, they have lost.
There's sort of inner fragmentation over there.
They have lost their sense of security for years and years.
And that false pride as well.
Absolutely. Their government always promised that I am guaranteeing you safety. So everybody, Jews, come here. Now that is destroyed. That is demolished.
That credibility is gone.
That's gone. And this is, I think, the beginning of the end for Israel.
The beginning of that. That you are right. And what about their false pride? Yes, I am going to translate. We will take up this question next time. It is about the promised land that they say.
Right.
I think you might have gone through that. तो हमारे मोअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान डॉक्टर शहाब ये बता रहे हैं कि इज़राइल एक सेटलर कलोनियल फोर्स के तौर पे यहाँ आई, यूरोप से आए, मुख्तलिफ जगहों से आए। ये लैंड डजंट बिलोंग टू दैम, ये जगह उनकी नहीं है। इधर आके उन्होंने कब्ज़ा जमाया, और चूँकि ये एक इलेजिटिमेट और बाकायदा एक नाजायज़ मुल्क है जिसकी कोई हकीकत नहीं, जिसका कोई लोकल स्टैंड आए नहीं कि यहाँ पे आके वो कब्ज़ा करके बैठ जाए, इसलिए वो अपनी तबाही की तरफ जा रहा है बड़ी तेज़ी से। ये बिगनिंग ऑफ द एंड है, ये उसके ख़ात्मे का आगाज़ हो चुका है, क्योंकि वो तो एक बुनियादी तौर पे एक नाजायज़ वहाँ पे कब्ज़ा जमा के बैठा हुआ है। ये एक जो फोर्सेस ऑफ नेचर है उसके बरक्स है। तो वो अपना उसके अंदर जो है वो एक एतमाद था यहूदियों को कि जी यहाँ हम जाएंगे, और एक गारंटी दी गई थी उन्हें वहाँ की लीडरशिप की तरफ से, तल अवीव की तरफ से, कि आप यहाँ आएँ, आपको हम तहफ़्फ़ुज़ देंगे, आपकी यहाँ प्रमोशन होगी, तरक्की होगी। वो अब ख्वाब चिकनाचूर हो रहा है। अब लोगों का वो इत्मीनान और सोसाइटी के अंदर एक फ्रेगमेंटेशन की एक कैफियत है। वेल डॉक्टर साहब, ये वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, दे नॉर्मली से दैट we have been promised this land, I mean, in our, you can say, in our scriptures, you can say. Have you studied that thing? I mean, does it have any locus, any justification in that?
This is just a fake excuse.
A pretext.
Yes, because those who created the state of Israel, they were secular people. They weren't religious Jews. They were secular Jews which created Zionism based on a secular modern idea. They weren't religious Jews. Those who created
they were in conflict with the original Jews.
Yes, actually, because
they are totally apart from them.
Today we have many Orthodox Jews who are against Zionism. They don't believe in Zionism because Zionism is a modern ideology created like Marxism. It is not a religion. We should not conflate the religion of Jews with the ideology of Zionism. Zionism is a modern secular ideology. It has nothing to do with God. It is a colonial project, heart of the imperial.
You said it has nothing to do with God?
Yes. They do. I mean, it is a colonial project. Did the British who came to India came for God? No, they wanted to conquer land, seize their resources, and so it was about
power. It has nothing to do with the ideology.
It was about power. It was about control. Power. It was about conquering lands. It wasn't about God or religious ideas. So also the Zionist Jews, they came there as part of a colonial project when the British Empire was disintegrating and they were losing ground, and they wanted to put an agent in the region so they can control the region. So Zionism is part and parcel of colonialism, and this is why why are the Western powers putting so much of their, they are ruining their reputation. All their talk about human rights, all their talks about...
It's all bullshit.
Yes, about international law. They have... Why are they putting so much for this Zionist entity? It's because it's their agent, it's their tool, it's part of their large project to dominate the world. And so if, inshallah, Muslims, as they have been awakened, as some... We're trying to...
I mean, thanks to Iran particularly, and Pakistan is also now following the suit.
Some governments were trying to normalize relations, unfortunately, with this. And this, I think, the Gaza war has made everybody realize what vicious, entity this is, that don't observe any kind of human law, legal obligations. They are going after the ICC, the International Criminal Court.
Oh, yes. That issued the warrants of Netanyahu as well.
Yes.
जी नाजरीन, हम कुछ आपको बताना चाह रहे थे, ये जो बात थी, लेकिन हमें कहा गया कि ब्रेक ले लें, तो ब्रेक के बाद मैं फिर आपको बताऊंगा। हम जा रहे हैं एक ब्रेक की तरफ, तो ब्रेक के बाद दोबारा हाजिर खिदमत होते हैं। जी, ब्रेक के बाद हम आपको खुश आमदीद कहते हैं। हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं डॉक्टर शहाब एस्फंदियारी। आप प्रेसिडेंट हैं IRIB। आप ईरान से तशरीफ़ लाए हैं, स्कॉलर हैं और मीडिया के भी, PhD फ्रॉम यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ नॉटिंघम UK इन मीडिया स्टडीज़ एंड फिल्म मेकिंग। तो हमने उनसे कुछ सवालात किए जिसका उन्होंने जवाब अंग्रेज़ी में, मैंने उन्हें सवाल किया और अंग्रेज़ी में जवाब दिया। अब जो लास्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन था उसमें मैंने यही उन्हें कहा कि एक उनको वो प्रॉमिस्ड लैंड का कहते हैं जी, हम पे वादा किया गया कि हमें ज़मीन, उन्होंने कहा ये एक बाकायदा नौ आबादियाती एक प्रोजेक्ट है और उस प्रोजेक्ट को यहाँ पे लॉन्च किया गया इस खित्ते में बरतानिया ने, जब उसका वो यहाँ पे ग्राउंड लूज कर रहा था और यहाँ से भाग रहा था, तो उसने अपना एक प्रोजेक्ट के तौर पे लॉन्च किया। और सहूनियत जो है वो यहूदियत से मुख्तलिफ है, ये एक बाकायदा प्रोजेक्ट है, इसका नज़रिए से कोई तल्लुक़ नहीं, और ये एक उस प्रोजेक्ट के तौर पे यहाँ काम कर रहा है। लेकिन यहाँ पे उसको जो बैनुल अक़वामी क़ुव्वतों की एक सपोर्ट हासिल है, तो उनके वो कहाँ गए वो कवानीन के, उन्होंने कहा जी हम दुनिया में ह्यूमन वैल्यूज़ की और ह्यूमन राइट्स की बात करते हैं कि लोगों के हकूक़ और उनकी सिविल लिबर्टीज़ की बात करते हैं, वो 6 महीने। तो नाउ वी स्विच टू अनदर क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर साहब। So promised land, we have you have answered about that, and I mean, what is the situation now on ground?
Right.
And I would also like to ask that people here, we have I mean engaged in a big gossip that how did Israel penetrate into your ranks? I mean people say Mossad people, and a lady was also captured, and some people have been hanged and executed as well. So, or did it happen, I mean, without the knowledge or, I mean, of the, your agencies, or you have a big network of Pasdaran and all that, revolutionary guards.
Yes.
And you have a very big, effective intelligence system there.
Absolutely.
Iran has a very immaculate system of intelligence.
Yeah.
But is it a story or is it a reality?
Well, it is sadly a reality that some forms of penetration and infiltration happened in some ranks in Iran. Of course, Iran is a very large country. As
large
you know.
country.
We have many borders, long borders, sea and land, which enables foreigners to penetrate, and they also sometimes, because of the internal issues that we have had, the security forces have been focused on some internal issues which we have had, and this is again the play of the imperial forces. They have, from the age of the colonialism, they had one slogan: divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
So they divided nations and they conquered, and inside also the nations like Iran, they create lots of divisions, dissents and divisions, and fuel through social media, through different
tools they have been using.
They are spending hundreds of millions of dollars. No other nation in the world is facing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of propaganda in satellite channels against them. So the people of Iran are bombarded with many false images, disinformation, misinformation, fake news. And so sometimes, like a few years ago, there was, they said that a girl has been killed by the morality police. No, it was false news, but because it's
people here were talking about vigilante justice over there and all.
Yeah.
I think that is not happening there.
They created, but after all these was cleared, it was clear that that girl had brain surgery before, and so it was a matter of her health, not something that she was beaten up or something that she was. But they created a sense of anger that for many months the country was, and all the forces of security were focusing on this issue. And certainly at that time, many of the agents of Mossad penetrated and infiltrated different parts. So they have to fight in different fronts, internal and external. And also we know that, even in the US, Mossad is spying on US politicians. You have heard of the case of Jeffrey Epstein in the US now. They blackmail US politicians, which is their, their big brother.
Let me explain to my viewers. ये व्यूअर्स इस वक्त उन्होंने यही बताया है कि अफसोस से ये कहना पड़ रहा है कि ये हकीकत है कि इसराइल के एजेंट्स की, उनके स्पाइस की वहाँ पे अंदर पेनिट्रेशन थी। लेकिन चूँकि ईरान एक बड़ा मुल्क है, उसकी सरहदें हर तरह की समुद्री भी और ज़मीनी भी, तो उसकी हैं सरहदें बाकी ममालिक के साथ, तो उसका फ़ायदा उठाते हुए कुछ लोग अंदर आ जाते हैं। फिर अंदर भी कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं, ऐसे अनासर होते हैं जो थोड़ा बहुत कुछ इख्तलाफात रखते हैं, फिर उनको एक्सप्लॉयट किया जाता है। और वो कहते हैं कि हंड्रेड्स ऑफ मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स जो थे प्रोपेगेंडा और फेक न्यूज़ जो थी ईरान के ख़िलाफ़ जो हैं वो फैलाई गई। जैसे कि वो ख़ातून का एक वाक़या हुआ, उनको दिमाग का कोई एक मर्ज़ में मुब्तला थी और कहा गया जी कि उनकी इस तरह किलिंग की गई है, वहाँ पे जुल्म किया गया ताकि लोगों को भड़काया जाए, उनके जज्बात भड़काए जाएँ और उनमें नफ़रतें पैदा की जाएँ इस सिस्टम के ख़िलाफ़। तो ये मामला है। और ये भी कहा गया हमारे मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान की तरफ से कि मोसाद जो है वो तो अमेरिका को भी नहीं माफ़ करती, कि अमेरिका के भी अभी जेफरी एप्स्टीन का वाक़या आपके सामने है कि वहाँ पे भी स्पाई कर रहे होते हैं वो, तो उनके पॉलिटिशियंस के पे भी उनकी नज़र होती है। तो वो एक सिचुएशन क्रिएट कर देते हैं कि फसाना सा बना के पेश करते हैं। तो लेकिन बहरहाल ईरान इन सब चीज़ों को फाइट कर रहा है। बट सम हाउ आर यू फाइटिंग सो मैनी चैलेंजेस फ्रॉम so many directions?
I would like to add to your previous question. Despite this issue of infiltration, we did not see any form of betrayal from our high commanders. You know, when Israel attacked,
they remained loyal throughout.
They remained loyal, despite at the first night when many of high-ranking military commanders of Iran were assassinated with their families. You know, they were killed in their homes with their wives and children. After they Mossad contacted about 20 generals in Iranian army and Revolutionary Guard.
And they sent them a message.
They said, we know where you live and your family. You should make a video of yourself, say, I am no longer loyal to the Islamic Republic, and leave the country.
That's an eye-opener for me.
Or else we will hit you with your family. And among those, none of them, you know, accepted. So this is very important that in the high ranks of Iranian military, alhamdulillah, there was all loyalty until the final, you know, drop of their blood. And this was
a wonderful news that I must share with my viewers. इनमें उन्होंने कहा कि अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इतना कुछ हमारे यहाँ ये जो कत्ले आम हुआ है, टॉप मिलिट्री लीडर्स, साइंसदान भी उनके गए, उनके फैमिलीज़ के साथ उनकी शहादतें हुई। और उसके बाद मोसाद ने बाकायदा टेलीफोन किए ईरान के जो मिलिट्री कमांडर्स हैं, जिनमें 20 कमांडर्स को बराह रास्त फ़ोन आए कि जी हमें आपके ठिकानों का पता है, आप अपने बच्चों के साथ, अपने ख़ानदान के लोगों के साथ कहाँ पे रिहाइश पजीर हैं, आप ऐलान कर दें, आप ओपनली ऐलान कर दें कि जी हम इस जो इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ ईरान है, हम इसके साथ वफ़ादार नहीं हैं और हम अपनी वफ़ादारी इसके साथ ख़ात्मे का ऐलान करते हैं। लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि जी उन्होंने हमारे मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान बता रहे हैं कि अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इसमें कोई एक मामूली सा भी शाइबा नहीं है उनकी वफ़ादारी पे, और वो बिल्कुल वफ़ादार हैं अपने वतन के साथ और इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक और अपनी कौम के साथ। Well, that's a very important point. I think
absolutely
this is sort of you can say unprecedented.
Yes,
world over. Because wherever, I mean, we have heard about Iraq and some military commanders.
Yes,
they reneged and they joined the other forces.
Absolutely, in Syria also.
In Syria also. So for that matter, I think what is the inspiration behind it? Wow. Behind this loyalty? Their commitment, dedication to the Islamic ideology?
I think it is both their dedication to the Islamic ideals and the school of thought which Ayatollah Khomeini, many of these generals were young soldiers in the war with Iraq in the 1980s, and they were true followers of Ayatollah Khomeini, and they have remained loyal. And also in Iran, the issue of national pride and the issue of national identity. There is in the minds of all Iranians that we resisted the attack of the Mongols. We resisted the attacks of, foreigners, and we fought against them, and we kept our land. So, who is Israel to tell us what to do and what not to
we are
do?
not bothered about Israel.
Yeah.
It's a small fry.
Absolutely.
And still you think, despite all the bombardment of Iranian cities and installations and so many assassinations.
These attacks were acts of cowardice. What nation in the middle of the night, without announcing that you are declaring war, attacks scientists at their home? Is this power or is this cowardice? What military attacks the home of a commander and kills his children and his wife along with him? Is this an honorable act of war?
No,
they are
not at all.
They are cowards, and they are millions came to the streets in Iran to honor those generals and their families and in their funeral. But who is going to come to the street for the funeral of Netanyahu? Nobody. He is hated.
Not even his wife, perhaps.
I don't think he is hated by everybody, even in his society.
Well, हमारे मौजूद मेहमान ये बता रहे हैं कि ये जो इसराइल ने काम किया है कि लोगों को घरों में उनके मार देना, उनकी बीवी बच्चों को, ये बुज़दिली का है, ये कोई ऑनरेबल एक्ट ऑफ वॉर नहीं है। और ये अचानक रात के अंधेरे में बग़ैर ऐलान किए जंग मुसल्लत कर देना, तो इसराइल अपना ईरान के अंदर जब ये शहादतें हुई साइंसदानों की और मिलिट्री कमांडर्स की, लाखों की तादाद में लोग उनके एजाज़ में वहाँ पे इकट्ठे हुए, उनको याद किया और उनके लिए दुआएं दी। जबकि अगर नेतन्याहू ये काम करेगा तो नेतन्याहू की जब हलाकत होगी तो शायद उसके घर वाले भी ना आए। तो दुनिया में बदनामी भी उन्होंने कमाई और ये बुज़दिली भी है। और ईरान का तो एक ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है, मंगोलों को से उन्होंने अपना जो है अपनी सरजमीन को बचाया, और इस तरह जो भी हमलावर हुए ईरान पे, तो इसराइल क्या चीज़ है, चाय पिद्दी और चाय पिद्दी का शोरबा। सो आई मीन here in Pakistan or the world outside Iran, people are fascinated as well as they think what Iran has done some wonders. What is the the point of integration of the Iranian society? There is no diversity in it. Is there any?
Of course there is. Yes. Actually, there is so much diversity.
So much diversity.
Yes, and even sometimes disputes about...
You have nationalities, sub-nationalities.
Yes, we have local identities, ethnicities, and also we have disputes in political issues, in economic issues, in cultural issues. But when it comes to saving the nation, defending the nation against the aggressor, it was clear that all the ethnicities, all the local identities, all the disputes of political factions, all the disputes of, economists, cultural people, they came together, artists, activists, so those, even the opposition of Iran who are abroad. Some of the members of the opposition of Iran came out against this aggression. And so it was a great sense of unity. And I would also like to refer to the unity it has created in the Islamic world. Today I was speaking...
You mean the war came as a blessing in disguise?
We have a saying in Farsi, Adu shavad sabab khair agar khuda khahad. Even the enemy may give you some blessings if God wills, if God willing.
With God's will.
Yeah. So, this kind of... Today I was speaking in Minhaj University of Lahore for the students. And I was telling them, this has... this sense of unity, the statements by Pakistani academics, Pakistani politicians, the Parliament of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan. This was amazing. This was a huge sense of brothership between the two nations. And, I think it created a sense of unity of Ummah and the concept of Ummah and the relevance of the concept of Ummah, which I think if we all come together, because for Israel, it's first Gaza, then Lebanon, then Syria, then Iran, then Pakistan, then Turkey. And if we don't come together, if we don't unite against this aggressor, he will divide us and then conquer each of us. So we should decide that, alhamdulillah, this unity, inshallah, will be the beginning of the end.
Well, the way Iran withstood all these pressures so courageously, I think, hasn't it put a stop on Israel's ambitions?
Of course it is. They think that Iran is the main source
Obstacle.
of instability, as they call it in the region. But actually, they are the source of instability. Since their creation, they have been the aggressor. We have not attacked any country. We have not, started any wars. We have only defended ourselves. They are the aggressors. They are the source of instability. They are the illegitimate regime in this region. And until they remain, this region would not see the face of
Dr.
stability.
Shahab, how are you surviving the sanctions? I mean, sanctions are,
absolutely
a formidable challenge, for any economy to thrive.
This is also, first, it was only sanctions against Iran. But when the Ukraine war started, there were sanctions against Russia. When the Taiwan issue came, there were sanctions against China. So everybody in the world has begun to think that we should find ways to overcome the financial systems of the West, which dominate the world, and the banking system of the world, the SWIFT and other mechanisms. We should create alternative forms of trade.
I think they have started evolving now.
Absolutely.
BRICS is also perhaps
BRICS has
coming as
created the Shanghai Organization. We
yes.
should create bilateral trade mechanisms.
And perhaps you might have heard about that International Organization of Media,
Yes.
Mediation.
Absolutely.
It's sort of a substitute to, a forthcoming substitute to
Absolutely.
ICC and
Yes.
ICJ.
Absolutely. So we should try and find ways of, evading the sanctions and going over them, so they become, useless. Because they won't take away these sanctions, and they will use it against every nation who wants to be independent.
अब ये हमारे मौजूद मेहमान कहते हैं कि जो भी कौम आज़ाद रहना चाहे वो तो उस पर सैंक्शंस लगाए रखेंगे और सैंक्शन से बिल्कुल वो भागेंगे नहीं और पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। तो इसमें हमें आपस में इत्तेहाद के साथ और ऐसे रास्ते तलाश करने हैं कि हमने इनको सैंक्शंस को किस तरह एवेड करना है, क्योंकि अगर हमने ख़ुद मुख्तार और आज़ाद कौम के तौर पे आगे आना है तो हमें इनका रास्ता तलाश करना पड़ेगा और आपस में मुत्तहिद रहना पड़ेगा। और ये भी है कि ईरान ने जो इस वक्त जुर्रत के साथ इस इसराइल का मुकाबला किया, उसकी जारहियत का, और इसराइल जो है वो कहता है कि ईरान जो है हमारे यहाँ एक इंस्टेबिलिटी क्रिएट कर रहा है, तो जबकि वो ख़ुद एक जारह है और वो जारहियत का कोई जवाब भी नहीं है। और वो वक्त भी ऐसा, अगर हम इत्तेहाद के साथ और इसी तरह जुर्रत और इस्तकामत के साथ आगे बढ़े और उसका मुकाबला किया इन कुव्वतों का, इस्तेमारी कुव्वतों का, तो फिर ऐसा रास्ता बन जाएगा। जैसे ब्रिक्स भी है, शंघाई भी इस वक्त इस तरह की एक तंजीम जो है, तो अब दुनिया में इस तरह के रीजनल कोऑपरेशन के सेटअप्स बन रहे हैं। तो how do you think that Iranians, what are their expectations about people from Pakistan and the other Muslim world?
Of course, I said we have deep cultural roots, shared cultural heritage, and but unfortunately the level of trade between us, the level of cultural bilateral relations, the level of academic relations is not as much as we expect. We have many shared aspects and visions. We have many shared interests, and I think part of the colonial and imperial legacy is to divide us. So we should overcome those, and we should not get into some of the tribal and the fractions and divisions, religious divisions, which sometimes the enemies create. We have many more aspects in common and shared aspects.
Lots of points of convergence.
Yes, to think about rather than thinking about our divisions. Just as in Pakistan you have different ethnicities, different religions, in Iran we have different religions, different ethnicities, but we are united in some aspects when there is an aggressor. And so between nations also this can happen. There is no antagonism between national identity and religious identity. We combine our religious identity and national identity, and so nations can combine what they share from the Islamic heritage, what they share from the history of Islam. Today I went to University of Minhaj. The buildings were the names of Islamic scholars,
Islamic
like
scholars.
Ibn Khaldun, like
Yes.
Farabi, like
So many
Jabir ibn
Persian as well.
Hayyan.
Yeah.
These are our
Yes.
scholars as well. Your
And
scholars.
we own them.
We
We
share
own them.
We share them.
I mean, one last question. Do you have any prisoners of conscience in Iran? Like in the Shah's regime, I mean, political prisoners you can say or something.
We don't have in our law. We don't have the the crime of somebody mainly for thinking one way.
The country is
or
not run with
expression.
iron hand tactics. No, not at all.
In Iranian newspapers, in Iranian social media, you have people criticizing even the leader. But as I said, sometimes you see the hand of the enemy. It's not one person being against.
So you are watchful against that.
Yes, we are watchful against the acts of the enemy.
But no suppression and no oppression at all.
But we have tried. Of course, when a nation is attacked from outside, it has to keep a stronger grip inside. Inshallah, when the forces of the enemy, which are putting pressure on our society, putting pressure on our, creating a state of war. Even in this situation of war, there were some people inside Iran who were critical of the government. For example, 180 academics issued a letter, open letter in Iran. They are living in Iran and they criticize government for some policies.
Unfortunately, I mean, the time is over.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahab. You have been very kind and spared some moments for us. तो जनाब ये बातचीत बड़े अच्छे पैराए में हुई है. इसमें उन्होंने जो लास्ट पॉइंट रेस किया, उन्होंने कहा जी कि जिस तरह पाकिस्तान में भी है, ईरान में भी इस तरह मुख्तलिफ एथनिसिटीज़ के, मुख्तलिफ नस्लों के, मुख्तलिफ नज़रियात के लोग हैं. लेकिन जब मुल्क की आइडेंटिटी का मसला आता है तो वैसे भी हमारे यहाँ आपस में पॉइंट्स ऑफ कन्वर्जेंस, आपस में जो है ना मुश्तरक अक़दार बहुत हैं और नेशनल आइडेंटिटी और रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी एक ही है. तो जब कौम के ऊपर कोई ऐसा वक्त आता है तो हमारे यहाँ कौम मुत्तहिद होती है और यही उम्मा के लिए उनका पैगाम है और अपील है. इसके साथ ही मियां सैफ रहमान को इजाज़त दीजिए. अल्लाह निगहबान.